Shell, our vision is to be the most competitive and innovative energy company. And our global strategy has to do with solidifying and getting the most out of our base assets and our base investments, and then targeting a defined number of very important growth opportunities around the world. So as we think about that, again, going back to local content, it has been very clearly proven in our history that local content done well helps us to do all those things. We have a global local content network that my team participates in, and in fact, we've been very active in working with that network, sharing best practices. We have some best practices that we've demonstrated in the US that we've brought to the global level and helped to align that way. In the US, Shell was one of the founding members of the WBEA, the Southwestern, one of the Southwestern RPOs, as well as one of the Houston-based MSDC affiliates. So we've had a program for a little over 40 years. It's clearly been in our DNA for a long time, but you know what got you there, what got you started, isn't going to keep you growing. You got to keep growing and evolving your program. We're perhaps a little bit differently structured than some of you and some of the others on the panel. My team reports into our diversity and inclusion practice rather than into procurement. And the reason for that is our procurement is global. We're a global company. Procurement is globally organized. And you may or may not know that Shell globally is based in the Netherlands. So where we have globally focused procurement, many of those leading folks may be the global leaders may not be in the US. We have three, what I think of as CPOs in the US. So if we were going to be based in procurement in the US, which one would we report to? So there are structural issues that have caused us to be based in D&I. Well, that presents some potential challenges. It means we have to work a little harder to be sure that we're well aligned and well embedded with procurement, and that we work closely with procurement and partner with them to get good visibility to the businesses. And so that's a continual piece of work we need to do to be hooked into the strategies of procurement and be hooked into the strategies of the businesses in order to keep growing and developing our program. Sometimes again, that presents challenges, but sometimes it presents opportunities. So I want to share an example of an opportunity. When we found out about 18 months ago that a new procurement team was going to be established, a global procurement organization called what we call CPOps, so Contracting and Procurement Operations. And that was part of a strategy to take what we call the tail spend, so small items, infrequent purchases and so forth, to consolidate that and outsource it so that it could be better managed with fewer invoices and less processes and a lot less money was the intent. Well, we already had in our supply chain some WBEs and MBEs who were doing procurement services, and so immediately that went up, a light bulb went off in our heads about, hey, this is an opportunity. So we worked very closely with that group from its inception in talking about the value that the companies that were already in our chain could bring to this effort. And we officially began what we called our capacity building effort by identifying a couple of companies, one company in particular who happened to be a WBE and an MBE, who was doing procurement services, less than $5 million worth of spend with Shell at that time. We worked with them to get a deeper understanding of their current capabilities, while we were also getting a fuller understanding of what this consolidation of the tail spend opportunity was going to look like, and worked to connect them to resources to address some of the things they would need to do to be more competitive when we started bidding this tail spend opportunity. And as a result, that company has grown from, again, less than 5 million sales with Shell to going to be close to 40 million, and that's in about a 2-year period. So again, sometimes it's a challenge, but other times it presents opportunities if you can be sure that you get well embedded in understanding the strategies that are coming down the road. Another example is a woman-owned company that provides technical manpower and safety and technical services, primarily for our upstream business. When we were following our strategy that our team was following our strategy that Shell was going to be growing deeply in our upstream business, in onshore, and as well as offshore. And that company, again, was already in our supply chain. So we started a capacity building conversation with them as well. And that company grew from less than 30 million to over 100 million in the last 2 years. So with a few of those examples, we've added about $200 million worth of new spend to our MWBE spend. We continue to look for those kinds of opportunities.